Hi guys, welcome to our first tutorial in learning Spring Boot from Kulesh. My name is Kulesh and I'll be joining with you all throughout this course to train you as a Spring Boot developer. So first things first, let's have an IDE to develop our Spring Boot applications. We can go to spin.io and /tools, and here you can find the most famous Spring Tools suite from this site to download it. It is one of the IDEs that are used for developing Spring Boot applications. So I'll be selecting the Eclipse version for it. There are actually three versions: Spin Tools for TIA, Spin Tools for Visual Studio Code, and Spin Tools for Eclipse. And you can select from Linux, Mac OS and Windows. I'll be downloading Windows version of it. I'll click on this and I can see that it gets downloaded. I'll cancel this because I have Spring Tools Suite installed. What you have to do is, when this gets downloaded, you can press on it and you can extract it to a folder just like I have done. Actually, it will look like this when you extract the folder. It will have the name STS, and inside the STS folder you can go to UI, not UI, you can go to STS release this folder, and you can see that there's a green leaf button with the name Spin Tools Suite. This is the application that you need to use. So I press on this and let's get started developing. First things first, let's press on this. And now you can see that we got this. It says selected directory as Workspace. So you need to give it a directory where you can place your projects in which you make inside it. You can have it named as STS Workspace, just as I've done it. So look here, I have the name STS Workspace given for our project folder. Now after that you can actually launch your first workspace just like this. And now as you can see, our Spin Tools suite is loading up. It will take a couple of minutes and now it's loaded. So here what you see is the Spring Tools suite, the Eclipse version of it. I have actually two projects placed. I've closed this and let's get started with our work. Now first things first, let's get started with the project. As you can see, you can go to File and you can select New, and you can select, there are various types of projects. I choose Spring Startup project first, and now you can see the new Spring Startup project window. Here you can see there's a URL called https start.spring.io. So this project gets downloaded from this URL just for you. Spring provides this to us. So here you can give it a name. I'll call this first project, and as I'm typing the name, you can see that this gets changed. The artifact gets the same name that we provide for the name of our project. And next thing, you can select the type as Gradle or Maven. I'll be using Maven, and we can select the packaging as Java. I hope you have learned about WAR files, and now you have to learn jar files. Jar files are very different from WAR files. And you can select the Java version and language Kotlin, Groovy or Java. And next thing, you can give the group ID. You can say com.start project, just like this. And next, the version is 0.01 snapshot. Snapshot is the development version given for our project. You can provide a description for the project. You can call this our first project. And next thing, you can change the package name. You can say package.com.start.project. And next thing, you can press on next and continue. And here I'll be using some dependencies. So here we can provide dependencies to work with our Spring Tool application. There are many dependencies. First thing, I'll be using a web dependency. So I'll be using this Spring Web. And next thing, let's press on finish. And as you can see, our project is getting downloaded from the Spring Starter IO URL. So it's actually downloading now, and we have to wait a couple of minutes till it gets downloaded. Here what you see is our first project that we made so far. There are many things to learn from this lesson. So I'll be joining with y'all and teaching you some important files in our first project. First thing is the pom.xml file. Here, as you can see it, in the pom.xml file, we provide dependencies for our application. In the earlier process, we gave a dependency called Spring Web, and you can see it here inside our project. These two dependencies are the very most important dependencies in the Spring software. So Spring Boot Starter Web and Spring Boot Starter Test are very famous. The first one is used to do web projects, and second one test for bugs when we are testing. And likewise, we can give many dependencies to a pom.xml file. Alright, next thing is, here in the project we have application properties. Actually, it's empty. You can provide many properties while we are working with Spring Boot. In the next videos, I'll be showing you some properties you should place on this application.properties file. And as you can see, there are two packages now: src main Java, src main resources, and it's in the src main resources that the application.properties is placed. And you can have templates and static files inside resources folder. And the next thing is, inside the main Java folder you can have Java classes, and in the src you can have JSPs and our views like JSV files. Now what we'll do is, we'll try to run our first app. This is showing an error. I'll fix this error and come back to you. One thing I couldn't tell you was that there could be many problems when you use a JDK version for our Spring Boot application. First, in this app I gave JDK version as 11, and because my laptop didn't have 11 JDK, I had to change it to JDK 8. So remember that you should do it as well when you are doing the setup for the new project. I showed you where to change the JDK version, and you should change it to your preferable version and the JDK version which you have in the computer. Alright, now let's run this application. You can select on first project application.java, and we can say run as and press on Spring Boot app. Let's run this and check the output. And as you can see here, our application says application failed to start. Why is this? Now let's see where our application is. Spring Boot applications work mainly on localhost 80 and 80. Let's press on localhost 80 and 80. Wow, we got some output. We got a white label error page. That means fine guys, because this shows that our Spring app is working, and we got this error because of a reason. So we can't just run our Spring Boot application and get a hello world. There are some things to do to get the hello world screen inside this application in port 8080. So as the first thing, I'll be going to src and main, and here I will be say new and other, and I'll type JSP .jsp. Actually, Spring doesn't have JSP at the moment. We have to provide a JSP dependency to have a JSP file. First of all, we'll have a new package made inside the main package, and we'll call this web app. And let's press on finish. In here, the main folder, we'll have a new folder called web app. We'll call this web apps and press finish. In Java, Spring Boot, the web container identifies the apps from this web apps folder. It's the default folder for placing HTML files and JSP files in Spring. Now let's try to have a JSP placed inside it. We say JSP, and wow, we are not getting a JSP. This is because we have to have a dependency placed inside our application. So we can't say new and select. We can't say that. As you can see here, there are no files called JSPs. All things are only JSP files are missing. Now we'll have the POM.xml dependency for the JSP file placed. We'll search for Tomcat Jasper. Then we'll go to the Maven repository.com and get a dependency for Tomcat Jasper. The dependency must be equal to the dependency of the Spring Boot version we have. Let's get the newest version. Let's go to 10.01 and we'll copy this from here and paste it inside our dependencies. Just like this, and we'll save it, and now we'll go to web apps and try to have a JSP file. Actually, the source is still downloading and we have to wait some minutes. And now let's see JSP. Well, my bad. I have to go to help and go to Eclipse Marketplace, and here we have to have this Eclipse Web Developer Tools 3.23 installed inside our file, inside our application. Let's press on install. We'll have to wait a bit, and I'll come back to you after this gets installed. Now to get JSP files we have to do another step. We'll go here into help and select new and install new software, and we'll select Eclipse repository 2021-9, and here we must select this WebXML, Java EE and OSGI Enterprise Development and press next, and we must follow through the process to get our JSP files open for our development. And you have to go next and go to finish. So likewise you have to do that to get JSP files inside your application. Now we'll go to our src and main and web apps, and now here we say new, and we'll go to other and select JSP, and voila, we have our JSP file. We'll press next and we'll call this home.jsp and press finish, just like that. And next thing, let's zoom this, and I'll give a hello. I'll give a big hello in our HTML file document. We'll give a hello, and after that let's go to our main Java resources file, and here we'll have a new class. The class will be a controller class. We'll call this first controller and press on finish. And now our first controller class is being made. Alright, let's work on the first controller class. If you've known about the MVC pattern, the model view controller pattern, you'd know that the controller acts like a servlet. So in Spring Boot, we don't need servlets. Instead of servlets, we have our controllers. Now here we'll give the annotation controller to make this class a candidate for the controller. And next thing, we'll make another method here, public string. It will be a string method home, and next thing, inside it we'll out system dot out dot print ln, and we say hi, and let's return our home.jsp file. And here we say response body. To check what happens when we use this, let's run our application after saving. We'll press on our application. We'll press this here. We say run as Spring Boot app. And we will go here and say home. And wow, you can see that the home.jsp is there in our home application, home URL. Home.jsp is showing. And you can see that we get highs as well. So that's how we implement a controller with our application. Instead of response body, we'll give here request mapping, and we'll say inside this we'll call our home. Now let's see what happens when we run this again. We'll say run as and select Spring Boot app. And let's see on the console what happens. We are still getting the home.jsp. We need to get our web apps hello. For that, I'll find a solution and come back to you. For the JSP to work, we have to put a dependency in first project pom.xml. For that, we'll go here to Tomcat Jasper. In the mail, we'll search for Tomcat Jasper for STS. And here, we'll go to this. No, we will go to this Now we'll search for Tomcat Jasper, and we'll go to this repository, mavenrepository.com artifact Tomcat Jasper, and we'll select the version of the. We'll go to Maven dependencies in our project and look at the Tomcat embed version. It's 9.0.55, so I'll choose it from here. Actually, I'll have 9.0.56, and I'll copy this from here, copy the dependency and paste it here. And next thing, I'll save this. And next thing, I have to change the name of the web apps to web app, because in Spring Boot we have our pages in the default folder for pages are web app. So we'll save this as that, and now we'll save again, and now let's run this application. We say run as Spring Boot. And let's check it out. Let's go to white label page, and we say home, and wow, we got our hello from the JSP. Wow, this is so fascinating. This is very fascinating. We got our hello from the JSP that we just coded. So this is the Hello World application I promised you, and I make this Hello World to make your mood go awesome. I'll go to the web app and home.jsp and say hello world here, and I'll save all and rerun it. Actually, we can rerun our application without a server is because Spring provides an inbuilt server for our applications. It is known as, it is in the Maven dependencies. It's called Tomcat. A Tomcat embedded server is there for us, so that helps us to build our applications inside our server. That's how this functions. Because the Tomcat server works over and over again, we can't run the app again, because we have to relaunch our application every time we run this application. Without doing run, we must say relaunch first project, and let's relaunch our first project, and let's see the output. We'll click on here, and we got our hello world. How fascinating is that? So this is what I wanted to show you in this tutorial. This is what I wanted to show you, how JSP functions inside a Spring Boot application with the dependencies, and I have successfully taught you how to do it now. So today's lesson is over, and I'll see you with another lesson another time. Until then, goodbye guys, and please take care.